Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Moonlight and Outdoors podcast. If you hadn't already, please go on over and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as our Instagram and Facebook. Thanks, guys. So, everybody that's tuning in, first of all, I want to say I appreciate you. Got my buddy Mark here. He and I are just going to have a conversation tonight about Morel mushroom hunting. Neither one of us are saying it anywhere at any point in this that we are professionals. Ain't that right, Mark?
That's right.
We're just here. We're having a conversation about morel mushroom hunting, and we're really hoping that some folks are going to tune in and even share some of your tips with us in the comment section. So we'll find that
I'm
comment section and start filling it up.
I'm open to some new tips, man. I am.
So we're already up to 11 viewers, Mark. So I guess let's go ahead and roll with it. How's your season going so far? You been out?
It's still a little early here in Morgan County, Indiana, but I have found about 30 total. Was just starting to find some blacks, and then yesterday my wife pulled about six nice big yellow ones. Kind of surprising because I thought that it was a little early for those, but they're popping, man. It seems like it's going to shape up to be a good season.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys are hunting public or private ground mostly?
Uh, I hunt a lot just on my own property, but I'm probably 10 minutes away from the Morgan Monroe Forest, and there's thousands of acres out there that you got to hike to get to. And I've had some really good luck out there. I get back in there where nobody goes, and um, usually have a pretty good season every year.
That's great.
Yeah.
So when you go, I mean, what kind of things are you looking for right off the bat? If you say, "Hey, I'm driving down the road, I want to get permission to hunt here," or you're scoping out some state ground, what kind of property? Because I've walked in woods before and walked for hours and looked in all the
Yeah.
great places that I've looked, and never found a thing. So, what
Right.
is it? What attracts your eye, man?
Basically, like the trees that are in that woods. I try to stay away from, a lot of hardwoods. Nothing but oak and maple trees. I haven't had a whole lot of luck in those type of areas, but I'm looking for poplar trees, elm trees, ash trees, sycamores sometimes. Um, but yeah, and then if the temperatures have been good and um, things are starting to bloom, things are starting to turn green. That's usually what I consider prime time to start looking.
Sure. And are you've been finding blacks first this year? Is that what you said a minute ago?
Correct. Yeah. We found a total of about 25 blacks. And what's crazy is on my property, that's where I found all of them so far. Uh, Last year, I found three in these two spots where I found 25 this year.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, I'm thinking, man, this is seeming to be shaping up to be a good year, and they're coming up a little earlier than last year too. So, I'm hoping the weather just continues to produce for us.
Sure. So those of you that are watching, go ahead and hit us in the comments and let us know how your year's going so far. Trying to get some engagement here, and let's get some good topic up. I'll be honest, I hadn't been out yet this year. I took a new job and I started on night shift, so I'm trying to adapt to yeah, working from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. But it's an adjustment, and so far
Yeah.
I think I'm doing exceptionally well compared to what I thought I was going to be doing.
That's gonna be tough. We're out picking mushrooms while you're sleeping.
Oh God, now I'm never. um, so you said ash trees, and I found that interesting. My property is, or my family's property is covered with ash trees, and obviously they're falling down in shambles.
Yeah, a lot of dead ones.
Yeah. So are you finding them around a live ash tree or?
Both. I've found them around both. Maybe it's an ash tree that's dying that's still alive, but Yeah, I mean, right here where I'm at, a lot of the ash trees are dead. But so I mean, I have found them around both, but I can't really lean one way or other whether it was dead or alive. You know,
Yeah.
um, this time of year they're not really turning green yet.
So here's the thing that, and those of you that are would consider yourselves a seasoned mushroom hunter, a morel hunter, you're going to understand what I'm about to say. And the beginner that hopefully that's who this is really kind of geared towards is somebody that hadn't really had any time to go out mushroom hunting. The morel is an extreme mystery. I don't think that there's anybody that's truly, outside of scientists and things like that. But I don't think there's really many people that's completely got them figured out. There's people probably say they do, and maybe there's people that do. But you know, every year I'm I'm stumped. You hear
Yep.
people talk about, and we were talking about this before the show when we were just on here, just talking back and forth. Um, People say don't pick roots. If you actually go and pick up a mushroom, make sure that you pinch the root off or cut the root off because it keeps that spore in the ground. Is that something that you do, Mark?
Yes, I typically pinch it off, or I'll even use a pocket knife and just cut it
Yeah,
above the root, and leave that root. Um, everybody has an opinion whether it works or not, uh, but and they're probably all right. Who knows? I seem to find mushrooms in the same spots where I leave them, so maybe it does work, maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
yeah, and there's also those kits. Those you can buy the kits and grow morel mushrooms right at home. I don't
Yeah,
know anybody even had success with that.
I've never tried it.
Yeah, I,
Uh,
no. I know it's interesting. So tell me, while we're waiting on people to really start chiming in, what do you do with your mushrooms once you bring them back in the house? I know we're kind of bouncing around, but
yeah, I know everybody has their own theories on ways to do that, and my grandparents showed me to just rinse them off real good, cut them in half, uh, let them soak in some salt water overnight, and then cook them the next day. But if you didn't cook them the next day, you needed to take them out of the water so they didn't get all soggy and gross.
right. So, and speaking of salt water, I've heard people say don't use salt water. My dad is old school, and I hope my dad's watching this. Dad, if you're watching this, comment on here. I know you're there, but my dad is an adamant. He's very adamant that you soak them in salt water. There's some little tiny bugs that get in there, and he's convinced that the salt gets rid of them. And I don't really like the idea of eating bugs. I'm kind of a savage, but uh, if I can
I
eat
mean,
a hundred bugs in a setting, I'll be happy.
yeah, I've found that when I soak mine overnight in salt water, the next day that water's full of bugs, and they're little tiny ones that you never know were there
Yeah, size of a
until you
miter.
soaked them.
Yeah,
So um, yeah, once I after I soak them overnight, the next day give them another good rinse, fry them up.
yeah. And so, have you ever tried the dehydrating them?
I haven't. No.
So, me and a friend of mine, Johnny Richardson, we found a bunch one year, and we actually worked together. And in our office, we took some a needle and some fishing line, and we were threading through the stems of them, and we just had them hanging in our office, just drying them out. And Johnny took them all home, added some water to them. They plopped right back up like they were, the day they were picked.
Yep.
Um, and so I'm thinking that if I find some, I might, just dry them out.
I've heard people doing it, and I know you can actually order them dehydrated online, like year round,
Yeah, I've seen that.
and eat them. So I've never tried that either, but I do have a couple friends that say that it's better to dehydrate them than freeze them because I've done that before. I've froze them and tried to save some for a cousin of mine while he was in the Air Force. Missed out on mushroom season, but wanted me to save him some. Uh, and the frozen ones didn't turn out good. Uh, they
Gotcha.
didn't take.
I could see that. No, when I was a kid, we always used to have a fish fry and a Morel mushroom fry all at the same time. That was always the
Mm,
thing.
yep.
Um, so getting back to actually find them in the woods, just if you would just kind of talk about, just go through kind of a day in the life, if you will. Let
uh,
us know.
I just basically in the Morgan Monroe Forestry, there's a lot of traffic out there, so I'll take off deep into the woods. I really don't even start looking till I get a little further back, and I do have some spots back in there that I head straight to. Um, but like I said before, I'm looking for the trees, and a lot of times I'll my dad can't stand it sometimes, but I'll bounce from tree to tree, hitting them as quick as I can, and he thinks I miss a lot of them that way probably, but uh, that's typically the way I like to do it. Is that I'm looking for those ash and elm trees during the yellow season. During the black season, I'm looking for the poplar trees, and I'm just bouncing from those from tree to tree. Typically, I like to look for those big poplar trees, um, and I have better luck for the black sponge around the big poplar trees. Um, but there's thousands of acres out there in the Morgan Monroe Forestry. It's kind of a crapshoot. Uh, sometimes you're in luck. Sometimes it's been trampled by a herd of people. But
That's the cost of doing it, man. And this is a
yeah,
new kind of hunting because I enjoy deer hunting. I enjoy coyote hunting. Anytime I can be out in the woods, but you don't have to wear camo. You don't have to do scent control.
right. It's
um,
good hunting there, man.
yeah, you can go whenever you want. You don't have to worry about wind direction. That's awesome. But
Yep.
the thing that intrigues me the most about the morel is just is the mystery behind them. I've heard
Yeah.
of, and again, we were talking before the show about somebody on this on a Facebook group that we're in, was talking about how they keep the water that they soak their mushrooms in, and they pour those out, and they found mushrooms growing up next to the foundation of their house. I don't think that I've had that luck. My dad might tell me different, but
Yeah, I've done that. I've never had any grow, but it's certainly a good idea, and I'm hoping that one day it actually works. But I think I did see that post though. That's pretty wild. Growing
yeah,
right in gravel.
yes, sir. Going right in the white marble ornamental gravel. So some of the things that I think, that you hear people, like someone will share a picture on a Facebook group, and it'll show the root bag on the mushroom, and then people say, "Hey, not to be a jerk, but dot dot dot,"
Oh,
and
arrows
then
start flying, man.
yeah, and then you'll see people, "Hey, check out all my mushrooms," and they're folding open their Walmart grocery bag, and then again, "Hate to be a jerk, but dot dot dot." So, oh, there's my dad chimed in. He said, "I don't rinse them at first." Here, I'll just pull this up. "I don't rinse them at first. Put them in a bag with paper towels to help keep the moisture out. Change towels every day, and they'll stay good for several days. I'll get them out, cut, rinse, and soak them in salt water." So there it is. I tried to get my dad to come on and talk about. He's like, "I don't know. That's not." He goes, maybe years ago, um, but I figured he would be on here. Um, but yeah, so the mesh bag is a big thing. I heard that if you collect your mushrooms and you put them in a mesh bag, my dad saves his potato snacks, and I'm
Yeah,
sure. How do you feel
yeah.
about
I think there's some truth to it, man. If you're got a bag full of mushrooms and they're jostling around as you're running through the woods, I'm certain there's spores dropping out of those bags, and um, those are future mushrooms. So why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's like planting little seeds, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, why not protect your future crops?
Sure. Um, we're not getting the comment engagement that I thought we would get, to be honest, Mark. So looks like we're kind of they're hanging us out here to dry. They're putting us on the spot.
Somebody's got to have some more tips, man. Come on,
Yeah,
we
this
need
is
them.
not cool. Not cool at all. We got 16 people between YouTube and Facebook, and so far my dad's the only one that chimed in with anything. Um, so you've been mushroom hunting for a long time. You started with your dad. Is that how it worked?
Oh yeah, I started with my dad when I was real little. Since I could walk, I've probably been mushroom hunting, and one of my earliest memories is with my great grandma there, and uh, I'll never forget. She would always walk around. She'd have the bag on her arm like this, and a beer in the same hand, and then the other hand was used to pick them and throw them in the bag. But
That's
I just I remember walking through the woods with her, and I must have been real little because she was a short woman, and I was looking up at that bag of mushrooms on her arm, really full. You know what I mean? And man, it's like that excitement that I got at that moment. It's lasted forever. I mean, I get excited when I find them. Um, it's been a family pastime for sure, and a hobby, and something we love to do forever.
so my dad, his farm, he actually has a lot of his mushroom hunting spots, like the actual little spots within the woods, are handed down to him from his parents.
That's awesome.
So it's the same places that have produced for him year after year after year. And some of the places have been, closed in from rose bushes and different things. But
Hmm.
Dad, I'm sure there's still some truth to that.
Yeah.
Um, but I just kind of always thought that was pretty fascinating, really.
Yep. I've been going to a lot of the same spots since I was a kid, um, and they produce every year. Uh, Sometimes not as good as the year before, but sometimes better than the year before. So it's hello, Verda.
She's
Honey.
70 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
I should just hand her the microphone. Yeah.
She's probably got all the tricks.
Yeah, after 70 years, I think that between Verda and my dad, if you guys would go out together, the woods would be in trouble. Those morels would get smoked. Um, yeah, that's awesome, Verda. You ought to chime in and tell us what some of your secrets are here.
We need those secrets.
Yeah. I don't know who Hillbilly Girl is, but she said she just can't seem to find them or enough for a batch at least. So,
Keep looking. If you're finding a few, then you're on the right track.
yeah, if you're
Uh,
putting the miles in, surely you're gonna trip on one.
yep. Sometimes that's what it takes. Is just you stumble up on that patch that just been
You know,
sitting there waiting on you.
the number one thing that tricks me is a walnut hole.
Walnut.
You're my
Oh
eyes
yeah,
get big,
yeah,
I'm like, "Oh, there's one," from afar, and I get up close to the walnut.
yeah,
Hey, still potentially edible,
yeah,
so it's not a total loss.
yeah. They'll play tricks on you and leaves. Uh,
So my daughter is actually chiming in now too. She wants to learn those spots, so grandpa will have to show you.
uh-oh, somebody's gonna inherit those spots now,
I'm in trouble.
huh?
Verta, she says you're right. I'm assuming she's talking about the Morels being in trouble.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so here's kind of what. First off, you don't walk in the woods without a walking stick. I mean, that would just be weird. You went mushroom hunting without a stick. Tell me you're not
Right.
one of them.
I gotta have a stick. I keep a few sticks handy.
Yeah,
Usually have one in the back of my truck at all times during this time of year, just in case I see a good stopping spot.
that's awesome.
Um, and you never know when you're going to run into a rattlesnake or something like that.
Fortunately for me, I've not I've not been around any rattlesnakes up. I'm a little north of you still, but that would
Yeah,
be wild.
we have them down here in Morgan Monroe forest. Seen a few while I was out hunting them.
Oh, my dad's told my daughter that he's going to share only if she shares.
That's awesome. Hey, I hope you find a bunch, Kimberly.
Southern Ohio. So the way I understand is the further south you go, the season falls in a little earlier as it gets traditionally it's warmer in the south.
Yeah, the temperatures rise moving north over
Yeah.
time.
So while we're talking about temperatures, you and I were talking a little bit again before the show about, the ideal temperatures. And, we kind of backed up. We knew what we thought. We backed it up with a Google search.
Right.
You want to go ahead and introduce that to them?
Yeah. So the ideal soil temperatures is like 45 to 50. And the air temperature that's ideal for mushroom hunting is 60 degrees or more. That's typically when I start really going to look. That first time we hit 60 degrees, I'm thinking, oh man, here they come. Um, so yeah, that's typically the ideal temperatures. Um, and so yeah, so further south we'll reach those temperatures sooner than we would. So yeah, a lot of them start popping up further south. But I don't know if you noticed this on that group that we were just talking about, but somebody's posting them from like way up northern Indiana.
Yeah,
Big
it did.
big hauls of them.
Yeah, Lake County's already producing, and
Yeah,
further north than that. So
it's
I don't know, man.
amazing, amazing. That's another thing that makes me think this is going to be a good year.
Well, I hope so. I hadn't, like I said, I hadn't been out yet. My dad went out and he's already found some. And dad will walk past them and he'll say, "Well, those aren't mature," and he'll leave them and come back and pick them, the next day. Um, I don't know if he went back out there to pick them, but yesterday he was telling me, or the day before, that he had found a bunch and that he was going to see if they would, pop out a little bit more. And
Yeah. Uh, uh, I think they do grow a little bit. I know there's different opinions on that too. Like some people think they just pop and they're done growing, and I don't know. I think they pop, but they continue to grow if you leave them. I kind of tested that last week. I found one of those black ones behind my house, and I actually tried an experiment that I seen online that you put a clear plastic cup over it, pour some water on it, then put a clear plastic cup over it and let it sit, and the humidity builds inside that cup and creates the mushroom to grow. Um, I think it would have grew either way. I didn't see much of a I didn't see much of a difference on that, but
That's
uh,
interesting.
yeah,
I know that dad dad's a believer. Let them set, and they'll be bigger when you come back around. Um,
yeah.
when I was a kid, he used to take me out with him, and but I remember him getting on to me for stepping on him. I would run into the woods, and he'd find them all stepped on.
Gotta look where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times as a kid.
Okay. He just commented that he's going to go back out tomorrow and check on them.
Nice.
I'm going to go out there and pick them tonight.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Night Shift, be up all night with a flashlight.
Hey, on my lunch break, I'll be out there. Um, so again, we talked about, you carry a mesh bag with you. It'll help spread the spores around. Carry your walking stick because you never know, you might stumble across a rattlesnake. But dad uses it. I use them for, flipping over, tree bark around trees,
Mhm.
pushing back the mayflowers,
Yeah,
just whatever. Um, pinch the roots off, cut the roots off, try not to, let it stay in the ground. There's a lot of folks that are firm believers that doing so is going to help the mushrooms come back in the future. Um, we talked about the soil temperatures. Um, you said ash trees, elm trees, dead, alive, poplar trees. Um, I know that I keep saying me. I have to give my dad credit. I probably would give myself more credit if he weren't watching, but um, he's all about the dead elm trees.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be honest, there's a couple of dead elm trees that we've had some pretty good hauls around the bottom of them before.
Oh yeah.
We don't have a lot of elm trees anymore. I don't know if they all died off or whatever, but we have a fortune of dead ash. So potentially we'll get lucky around them. But I've never heard about a sycamore tree or a poplar tree. So
You know, I used to. I haven't had much luck the last couple of years around sycamores.
mhm.
I don't know if there's anybody watching that's ever had good luck around sycamores, but I used to search the sycamores all the time and would find some. I don't know what happened the last couple of years, but the spots that I normally find a few at least around sycamore were didn't do very good. Um, but yeah, a lot of people swear by the sycamores, but uh, I'll check them if a big sycamore. I like checking around
Sure.
the big old trees. For some reason I feel like um, I find more around the bigger, older poplar sycamore trees.
Mhm. We have my dad's probably going to think about this too, but we have a nice little poplar grove on the very, very back of his property that he ought to spend some time walking through there and looking
Oh,
into. They're
absolutely.
not old poplars, but I'd say the majority of them are probably oh 12 to 16 inches
Yeah,
at
it's worth a look. That's where I find a lot of the black ones around the poplar trees, and that's what's up right now. Reef Robber, how you doing, sir?
Hey, from Oregon. What in the world? I didn't even really have morels in Oregon.
Uh,
That's awesome.
you finding any over there, Reef Robber?
Reef Robber. That's an awesome name. That's a cool
That is.
handle. I will usually leave a few for what I call seed, couple of spots around hedge trees. So yeah, we have a lot of Osage orange, the hedge trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's leaving some for seed.
Yep, it's a good idea.
Good tip.
I usually leave the ones that look a little old and dried out. Anything that looks like it's not too fresh, I'll leave it for seed. Same reason.
Mhm. Can't find morels while you're at work, buddy, unless you're me and you're sneaking out to your dad's spots at midnight. Um, I don't know. What else do we need to talk about here? Um,
uh, well, I was hoping somebody would give us some more tips, man.
no. If it weren't for my dad, we'd kind of be hung out dry to completely. Appreciate you, pops. Thanks for helping us out. Verta, I know she's holding out on some good stuff too, but she'll have to get back with us here.
Yeah, it must be
Um,
classified.
and I can understand that a lot of people don't want to share that knowledge. But here's the deal: even after this show is over, the comment section will stay alive. I know that um, I'm sure you don't mind to come back in here and keep an eye on these comments and engage with people. I know that I would think that'd be great. So
Yeah.
um, keep the comment section alive. Let's continue to share knowledge. Definitely ready to soak it up. Young dog, young dog wants to know where we're at. Oops, wrong comment. There we go. Young dog wants to know where we're from. Indiana. He's from about an hour and a half or so south of where I'm at in Indiana. That's it. So okay, I don't know what else to throw out there, Adam.
Yep. I guess we gave away all our tips, and hopefully
Yeah,
everybody's going to have a good year this year.
for sure. No, I think there's some people out there with some knowledge that don't necessarily want to share it with us, but and that's understandable. I won't hunt their spots.
Yeah,
Um,
that's inherited knowledge, man.
that's right. Um, live in Pennsylvania, hadn't been out yet. cousin just started finding some this week. So Pennsylvania,
Wow, that's pretty north of us, ain't it?
yeah,
Northeast.
north and definitely east. And I could see east being a little cooler too.
Yeah.
So Pennsylvania, you have to let us know how you're doing this season. That'd be awesome. Um, okay, well I'm going to wrap it up.
All right, man.
Again, keep those comments section alive. We appreciate anything you're going to share with us. Post engagement is incredible. Thanks for all of you that tuned in. It means a lot to us. Good luck on your mushroom season and all you do. I think we're going to be having some more stuff come on tomorrow. We're going to be talking thermal optics um, for coyote hunting and such. Join in. See you guys.
See ya.